Yes. So we discussed the simple harmonic motion and its equation, its solution, and then based upon solution we talked about the amplitude, we talked about the time period, frequency, and all those things. Then we started with the examples of simple harmonic motion, and the first example was the simple pendulum, which we did in the last class. Now today we are going to discuss the second example of the simple harmonic motion, which is mass on a spring. Okay, so mass on a spring, the arrangement could be of two types. First one, when the arrangement is horizontal, and the second one is when the arrangement is vertical. So we will be doing it one by one. First we shall go with the horizontal setup, horizontal vibrations. Horizontal vibrations. So in this kind of arrangement, the system consists of a massless spring, one end of which is connected to a mass m, while the other end of the spring is connected to a fixed point. We can show it diagrammatically also. So this is the fixed support to the spring. So here the spring is tied, this is connected to the fixed support. Okay, so if this is the situation, let's say this is the spring and the spring is being connected to the mass m. So this is connected to the mass m. Okay, and let's say this is position A. So here this is the equilibrium position. This is the equilibrium position. So therefore there is no stretching or compressing of the spring has been taken place. So here the restoring force will be equal to 0. Okay, so because this is the equilibrium position, there is no displacement, so there is no force, restoring force acting on the system, right? Now second situation is, let us say we have compressed the system, we have compressed the spring, and therefore now the situation is just like this. This is mass, and here we have compressed the system by x. So x is the displacement taken on the negative side. Okay, so here we will be having the restoring force F is equal to minus kx, right? Similarly, we can have one more situation wherein the mass, wherein the spring has been stretched such that a displacement x has been taken place on the positive side. So you can see this is the x displacement, right? Now since there is a displacement, it means restoring force will also be there, and that will be positive because x is positive. Okay, so F is equal to kx will be acting over here, right? So these are the three cases. First one, A, is the equilibrium position where there is no restoring force in the system. Second one is the compressed situation where the spring has been compressed and displacement has been, x is the displacement and force, restoring force is there where F is equal to minus kx. Okay. Third one is the system where the spring has been stretched and a positive displacement is occurring in the system. Okay. So we know that the restoring force, if we talk about the system B, the restoring force exerted by the spring F is equal to minus kx, where k is the force constant. where K is the force constant and X is the displacement. X is the displacement. Now we also know that according to Newton's second law states that mass into acceleration, if m is the mass, we stated it over here, m is the mass of the system. So m into acceleration is the double differentiation of displacement. So d2x upon dt square is equal to minus this one, because force is equal to minus kx. From equation number 1 you can say this is force is equal to mass into acceleration, which is further equal to minus kx. Okay, so this further implies d2x upon dt square plus k upon m into x is equal to 0. We can take this m on other side and this will become k upon m. Then we can take minus k upon x minus k upon m into x to the left hand side, and then this equation comes out here. Okay, so now we also know that this is equal to omega square, right? So d2x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. Now what is this? This is the differential equation of the motion of the mass m attached to the system, and this is the equation of the simple harmonic motion, right? So this is the equation of the simple harmonic motion. This means that the spring held horizontally on a horizontal plane surface, when it starts oscillating, it possesses simple harmonic motion, right? So this is what this we can prove from here. And another thing is we can define the motion of the system, wherein if we assume that the system starts oscillating from the extreme position, right? So if motion starts from extreme position, if the motion starts from extreme position, what does it mean? It means that if we take mass m from here, okay, so if the system is allowed to vibrate from this particular position, here we know that this is the x and x is the maximum, right? This is the maximum value of the x. When the system is let free to vibrate, after that the amplitude will decrease, right? So if this is x and if this is the maximum value of x, we know that maximum value of x is equal to the amplitude of the vibration, right? So here x is equal to a, and here at this point we assume that we just started the system, so time t is equal to 0, right? And if time t is equal to 0, here you can say, because this is the extreme position, so as per the energy conservation, this should be the here velocity, change in the velocity should be equal to 0, means acceleration is equal velocity is equal to 0. So it means dx by dt is also equal to 0 at this particular point, right? So if we take these three situations, means at extreme position x is equal to a, time is just started, so t is equal to 0, and velocity is also equal to 0 because the kinetic energy is 0 at that point. Okay, so if this is the situation, uh, we know that the solution of this equation, the solution of this equation number 2 is, the solution of equation number 2 is x is equal to a sine omega t plus phi. Okay, so if we put all these values in this equation, we will get, no, or before doing that, you can just differentiate this equation with respect to t. So dx by dt is equal to a omega cos omega t plus phi. Okay, and now if you can put all these values in this equation, then dx by dt is 0. This is equal to a, and this is equal to a omega cos. Now t is also equal to 0, so omega t will become 0, and this is phi, right? So what does it mean? A omega cos phi is equal to 0. So it means that one of the quantity out of these three quantities must be equal to 0. So because A is not equal to 0, because A is the maximum amplitude, A is the maximum amplitude, so maximum amplitude can never be equal to 0. Similarly, omega cannot be equal to 0 because it has a specific time period, so omega cannot be equal to 0. So what does it mean? It means that cos phi must be equal to 0, okay, which means that phi is equal to pi by 2, because at cos pi by 2 is equal to 0, so which means phi is equal to pi by 2. So it means that now this equation becomes, the solution of the equation number 2 becomes x is equal to a sine omega t plus pi by 2, which is equal to a cos omega t, because sine pi by 2 plus theta is equal to cos theta. So this is a cos omega t. So this is the solution of the situation, this particular case, wherein the mass is laid horizontally on a plane horizontal surface, and this is tied to a spring connected to fixed, which is being fixed from the one end, right? So this is the solution of this equation. And another thing is, if the motion does not start from the extreme end, if the motion does not start from here, and if the motion starts from equilibrium position, under that situation, the solution of the motion, the solution of the equation will be same as that of the simple harmonic motion. So x is equal to sine omega t plus phi will be the solution if the motion starts from equilibrium position. Then solution of equation 2 is this one, x is equal to a sine omega t plus phi, okay. And we know that here omega is equal to under root of k upon m, right, which we have already derived it. And time period, we know that time period is equal to 2 pi upon omega, okay. So this will be 2 pi under root of m upon k, okay. And frequency of vibration is n is equal to 1 upon t, so this is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of k upon m will be the frequency of the vibration, okay. Yes, students, is it clear? Any doubt over here?
Can you explain this once again?
Sorry?
Can you explain this once again?
Yes, yes. So I was saying, see, we discussed the situation wherein the mass is being kept on a horizontal plane surface, and this is being tied to a spring, right? The spring is fixed at the one end. So in this situation, we derived the solution of equation of motion for this particular case, and we came to the conclusion that the equation of motion for this kind of situation is similar to the simple harmonic motion. So which means that this, in this particular situation, the mass is executing simple harmonic motion, okay. Now there are two cases: if the motion starts from the extreme position here, and if the motion starts from this position, from equilibrium position, okay. So if the motion is getting started from the equilibrium position, all the parameters will be similar as that of the simple harmonic motion, means omega, frequency, n, the time period t, the solution of the equation of motion, the differential equation. So everything will be same as we did in the simple harmonic motion while deriving the equation for the simple harmonic motion. But in case if this motion is getting started from the extreme position, so here some of the parameters will change, because at this extreme position x will be having the value of a, because here this is having the maximum amplitude, which is equal to a, and here because we are starting the motion from this point, so here t is equal to 0, time period is equal to 0, and because here the velocity is equal to 0, so this dx by dt is also equal to 0. So these parameters we need to substitute in the solution of the simple harmonic motion, where which is x is equal to a sine of omega t plus phi, right? And when you differentiated this, you get this, and this is the solution. सो यहाँ पे आपने सारी वैल्यूज पुट करनी है, dx by dt को 0 पुट किया एंड देन दिस इज a ओमेगा cos ऑफ, बिकॉज t इज इक्वल टू 0 सो ओमेगा t 0 हो जाएगा, so this is phi, right? So which means that cos phi is equal to 0 because a and omega are not equal to 0, which further means phi is equal to pi by 2. pi by 2 का सोल्यूशन में पुट किया तो आपके पास ये सोल्यूशन आपका आ गया उस केस के लिए, उस पर्टिकुलर केस के लिए, ठीक है। और सेकंड मैंने बोला जब आपका मोशन जो है वो इक्विलिब्रियम से शुरू हो रहा है तो आपके सेम सिचुएशन रहेगी जैसे सिंपल हार्मोनिक मोशन में आपने किया था। Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt, students? Other students, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
So now we will discuss the second case wherein the vertical vibrations are taking place, where the mass is attached vertically to the spring and vertical vibrations are being taking place. So let us see what happens in that particular situation. So second case is the vertical vibrations.
One more thing, are we going to study the combination of springs?
Yes, we are also going to study that. Okay, so vertical vibrations. In this case, let us consider a massless spring of length L hanging vertically. So this is the situation. Let us say this is our fixed point where the spring is being fixed. Okay, so this is the situation, and this is the situation without mass. We have not attached any mass to the system, so this is the position of the spring without mass. Okay, now second is when we are fixing a mass on the lower end of the spring. So what will happen to the spring when you fix a mass to it? It will get stretched downwards. Okay, so this is mass M being attached to the spring. As a result of this mass being attached to the system, the spring will be stretched by a distance x downwards, x naught downwards. X naught downwards. Okay, so it means that a restoring force will be acting to this mass, which will be opposite to the displacement. So this is F. F will be acting over here. F is equal to minus kx naught, you know that. Okay, now third situation is when you just pull this spring downwards, so that as to we can set this system to the vibrations. So in that situation, this is the position of the mass. Okay, so if you see, if you just compare it from here, this has gone down by a distance x because we are stretching it downward in order to set the system into vibrations. Okay, so as a result, again the effective force will be there, the restoring force will be there, which will be acting opposite to the displacement, right? Okay, so now let us first talk about this case when we just attach the mass to the system, but we haven't set it into vibrations. We haven't set the simple harmonic motion to the system. We haven't applied any force. We haven't scratched it. Okay. So this is the equilibrium position. You can say this position. This is A. If this is B, and if this is C, so B is the equilibrium position. Okay. So by Hooke's law, you can say that F is equal to minus K x naught for the system B, okay, where K is the force constant of the spring. And now the other force acting on the mass is its weight, okay, because this is, you know, the acceleration due to gravity is also effective over here. Okay, so it means that due to the mass of the system, the weight of the system will also be there, which is acting downwards. So this is also a force. Mg will also be acting over the system. Okay, so therefore the total force acting on mass m is total force acting on mass m is minus k x naught plus mg. This is the total force acting on the system. Now, since the mass has no acceleration at this system, at the system B, you can see that this is the equilibrium position. So therefore, there is no force acting on the system. Therefore, there is no acceleration, right? This is the still position of the mass m. So therefore, there is no acceleration. If there is no acceleration, this means that total force must be equal to 0. Okay, so this means that the total force acting on the mass m must be equal to 0 in the equilibrium position, right? Which further means that you can find out the value of x naught from this equation. So x naught is equal to mg upon k. Okay, let's say this is equation number 1. So this is the static equilibrium position of the mass m. This is the static equilibrium position of mass m. Okay, now suppose during the oscillation the total extension in the spring, now let us suppose that we are taking the case C, wherein we have stretched the spring downwards by a distance x. Okay, so it means that now the restoring force will change. The restoring force now will be, we are talking about the system C. So therefore restoring force for C is equal to what? F, you can say this is F dash. So F dash is equal to minus K, and now this will be x naught plus x, right? Because earlier when there was no force, this was minus K x naught only. Now this displacement has been changed by x naught plus x. Okay, so this will become the restoring force now, which is further equal to, so F dash is further equal to minus K. The value of x naught as we derived in the last slide is mg upon k plus x, which is further equal to minus mg minus kx, right? So the other force, so this is the F dash is equal to minus mg minus kx. This is the restoring force when the system is being stretched. Okay. The other force acting on the mass m is the weight mg. Now see here in the C situation, in the third situation, the weight mg is also acting over here. Okay, so mg is also there, so we need to add this force also. So the total force the total force acting on the mass M is given by total force is equal to what? Mg, which is acting downward, plus this force plus F dash. So this will become Mg minus Kx. This is further equal to minus Kx. Okay. So now according to Newton's second law, we will again apply the Newton's law over here. So we know that m d2x mass into acceleration, this is equal to the force, and total force is minus Kx. So which means that d2x upon dt square plus k upon m x is equal to 0, and we also know that because k upon m is equal to omega square, so we can rewrite this equation as d2x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. So again, this is equation of simple harmonic motion. So what does it mean? We can say that this system where the mass is being hanging to the spring vertically, when it is set into oscillation, it possesses simple harmonic motion, right? And for this simple harmonic motion, the time period will be equal to t is equal to 2 pi upon omega, which is equal to 2 pi under root of m upon k, because omega square is equal to k upon m. And see, this is the time period, t is equal to 2 pi under root of m upon k. Okay. We also know that because k is equal to mg upon x naught, if you see the equation number 1, if you see this equation number 1, we can say that you can take the k over here and x naught over here. So this will become k is equal to mg upon x naught. So k is equal to mg upon x naught. You can just put this value over here, and time period could be given by t is equal to 2 pi upon 2 pi under root of 2 pi under root of x upon x naught upon g. X naught upon g. Okay. So see, what is the importance of this relation? Why this relation is important? Here you can see that we can just derive the time period of oscillation for the mass which is being vertically hanging to the system, vertically hanging to the spring, by just knowing the equilibrium position, by just knowing the x naught, and by just knowing the gravity, acceleration due to gravity. We do not require the mass, we do not require the force constant, we do not require any other parameter to calculate the time period. If you are knowing how much the system has been displaced when the mass is being attached to the spring, you just know that length, and you can find out the time period, right? So this is the specialty of this relation.
Be like k is equals to mg upon x naught plus x, because it also traveled the x distance in this third system.
K is equal to, just a minute, constant will remain the same for each system, so it will not be varying. For example, if you see it here now, the F dash is equal to again minus kx. So this is the restoring force. So don't bother about that because we are using only one spring over here. So the force constant for the spring will remain same. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was about the vertical vibrations, and then we can discuss some special cases. For example, what will happen if the spring is cut in n equal parts? So this is a special case. Yes, 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 please. Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I was unable to join class before because I was in the quiz of EVS.
No issue.
So-
You can just go through the recording part, and if there is any problem, you can ask me. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, what about the attendance?
You joined the class, no? Okay. No,
Yes.
don't worry. Don't worry about attendance. I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So there is a special case. What will happen to the force constant if we cut the spring into n equal parts? What will happen to the force constant if the spring is cut into n equal part? Okay, so the question is, what will happen to the force constant of the spring if it is cut into n equal parts, right? Now we understand that k is inversely proportional to length. More the length, lesser will be the value of the force constant, as that we get to know from the previous article. Okay, so if the spring of the force constant k is divided into n equal parts, the length of each part will become how much? If L is the length of the spring, if L is the total length of the spring, okay, yes, and if we divide it into n equal parts, okay, then the length of each part will become equal to
constant of each.
L upon n. Okay, so that we need to find out. We need to find out the spring constant of each of the part. Okay, so the force constant of each part, if k dash is the force constant of each part, then the ratio of force constant of a single part to the force constant of entire spring is equal to what? L upon L divided by n, because k is inversely proportional to L, so L will come up and L by n come down, which is equal to n, which further means that k dash, which is the force constant for a single part, is equal to n k. Okay, number of parts into which the spring has been cut and the force constant of the entire spring. Okay, so now the time period, therefore the time period of mass m when suspended from one part will be from one part will be how much? Now instead of k, you will be writing nk. So k, t is equal to 2 pi into m upon k. We know that from the previous slide. Okay, so this will become 2 pi into m upon n k. Okay, so it means that this was the initial value and this is the final value. So it means that if you cut the spring into n parts, the time period will become 1 upon under root of n times the initial time period of the this motion, initial time period of the spring. Yes, students, is it clear? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you tell us like which books should we refer to?
Yes, I told you in the last class also, I am referring to Satya Prakash, Engineering Physics by Satya Prakash.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. If you want, you can buy this book. This will not cost much, but this is a very good book, and I think you should. If you're not getting it in the library, then you should purchase it. Otherwise, I can also give you the scanned, notes for each chapter. As you wish, you tell me. जैसे आपको ठीक लगेगा, I will do that. Okay. So yeah, any other thing?
No, ma'am.
मैम इस वाली बुक में सारा सिलेबस है physics का?
Yes, yeah, you'll find around 95% of the syllabus in this book. And अगर इस book से बाहर कुछ होगा तो मैं आपको definitely that I will provide. ठीक है? Yeah.
Ma'am, please
Yes.
repeat the name of book.
This is Engineering Physics by Satya Prakash.
Can you explain the last one time period
हाँ जी.
again? Can you explain the time period again?
This one?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके सो हमने क्या किया यहाँ पे स्पेशल केस लिया फॉर दिस प्रॉब्लम कि जब हमने स्प्रिंग को n इक्वल पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर दिया तो क्या होगा, तो टाइम पीरियड पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा. ठीक है, तो वो हमने यहाँ पे कैसे किया, वी जस्ट सी दैट हाउ इट इज गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट द फोर्स कांस्टेंट, राइट. सो इफ वी कट द स्प्रिंग इनटू n इक्वल पार्ट्स, it is going to impact the force constant, right. So because force constant is inversely proportional to length, so if we cut the L length into n equal parts, then the length of each part will be equal to this one, L upon n. So the length of each part is equal to L upon n. Okay, so if we take the ratio of k dash being the force constant of each part, so if k dash upon k is equal to what, L is the length, because it is inversely proportional, force constant is inversely proportional to length. ठीक है, तो proportionality constant को ऊपर और नीचे हटा दिया अगर हमने, so this will become k dash is equal to k dash upon k is equal to L upon L divided by n, which is further equal to n, right. So it means that k dash is equal to nk. तो k dash is equal to nk जो है वो आपका नया force constant है. This is the force constant for the single single part. Okay, so time period में जब आप इसकी वैल्यू को substitute करोगे, you will get this value 2 pi under root of m upon nk. ठीक है, time period of mass m when suspended from one part will be this one, 2 pi under root of m upon k dash, right, which is further equal to 2 pi under root of m upon nk. लेकिन इनिशियली कितना था, विदाउट कट किए, अगर आपने इसको कट नहीं किया तो टाइम पीरियड क्या होता है, तो टाइम पीरियड ये होता है t is equal to 2 pi under root of m upon k, right. तो अगर आप इसको और इसको कंपेयर करोगे, you find that the new time period is a multiple of 1 upon under root n. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Any other question? Okay, so if there is no question, we can just stop here and just a minute.
Ma'am, just can you like do that, inform all the students about that practical?